Now tell me that doesn't get you going right there when you hear that song. Eat 'em up, eat 'em up. Welcome to another Unsportsmanlike Conduct. I am the host, as always, Matt Geller. I told you last week I got a special guest, and I absolutely do. Former Saginaw Star and Michigan State linebacker Monquez Wedlow is coming up right after I finish with this. So don't go away. You guys, listen, you need to stop tuning in. I don't even know why this happens. I go on there, the analytics for this show will show me that how many views I have for each, segment. So I have 100 views of me and 25 views of, Flozell Adams or Charlie Bell or Paul Davis. And I'm saying, listen, the whole point of this was I love for people, everybody that knows me knows I love the sound of my voice. You know it, I know it, whatever. But honestly, I went out and got these guys to be on this show because I know people want to hear from them. But then you don't stay on, you don't tune in. Do me a favor, click on Monquez Wedlow is coming up right after we finish this right here. So please take the time to tune in and see what he has to say. Monquez Wedlow was a hard-working, loyal Spartan. Man, this guy was, he just hit hard, and I love watching him on the field. There's nothing that would stop him. He was just tenacious and just went hard on every play. And so the knowledge that he was able to acquire throughout his career is priceless. And I'm trying to get to share this with you guys. So please don't get on here and click on and watch me and then get out, man. Take time to watch and see what Monquez and these other guys have. And if you haven't seen the guys from the past, go back on there and check them out. I've got it all on here. Click on playlist. Click on play all. You can watch the whole thing. So do that. Trust me. You'll enjoy it. Spartan fans. Now, if you're a fan of that record, Ann Arbor, you probably ain't going to enjoy it. But I don't really care. So, again, Monquez Wedlow coming up right after this. So check it out and let me know what you think. All right, we got to get right into this. Major League Baseball. Sean Manaea no-nosed the Red Sox last night. And I got to tell you, if you remember when I had my producer on here, Eric Schoberg, and we were taking, putting our preseason prognostication to the test, and I picked the New York Yankees, far and away the best team in the American League East and in the American League period. And after 20 games, the Boston Red Sox won 17. Oh, my God. And you want to know who's laughing all the way to the bank on this one? Dave Dombrowski. He was humiliated, fired from the Detroit Tigers. And he goes to, remember, Theo Epstein was the general manager of the Boston Red Sox, goes to the Chicago Cubs, builds them into world champions. Dave Dombrowski put 2 World Series teams on the field for the Detroit Tigers. There are so many teams that can't get to the World Series, can't even get to the playoffs. Dave Dombrowski put 2 separate teams in the World Series and is unceremoniously shown the door in Detroit. Because why? We are allergic to winning in Detroit. I'm going to tell you that right now, Detroit fans. The sooner you get on that, the better off you're going to be. This is an awful state for sports programs, and the Tigers are not exempt from that. So they run the architect of 2 separate World Series teams out of town, and they're like, well, let's bring in Alex Avila, or Al Avila. Is Alex's dad. And Detroit has just stunk since then. As soon as they fired Dave Dombrowski, they should have clean house. Get rid of Vic Martinez, get rid of Miguel Cabrera, they got Verlander out of there. You got to get these payrolls up out of here. You let Scherzer go in free agent. Excuse me. This is arguably, with the University of Michigan, the worst ran organization in the world. It's just embarrassing, and the Tigers, and the Lions and the Pistons and the Red Wings, you can throw them in there too. They're just poorly ran organizations, and Dave Dombrowski's showing you that right now. Like, I have the resources, and our owners don't mind, and I spend the money, and I get guys in here. 17 out of 20, best record in baseball, Boston Red Sox. So congratulations, Dave Dombrowski. I was not in agreement with them firing you. I'd love to see you rub their face in it. So good for you. Don't really care about the Boston Red Sox. As I said earlier, I'm a New York Yankees, not a fan of New York Yankees. I am a fan of the Arizona Diamondbacks, and I've told all of you that on which, by the way, the best record in the National League belongs to. That was a little segue into the Arizona Diamondbacks. You got it. Best record in the senior circuit. It's been a while that the Diamondbacks were relevant. And it appears that 2018 might just be their year. Now, there's a lot of teams, but they just took 2 or 3 from the Giants, and the Diamondbacks are the real deal. So I think that at the end of the season, unless Goldschmidt or something, you run into some injuries in that pitching staff with Greinke and them, I honestly believe that the Arizona Diamondbacks are going to make a splash in that, and it does not look like, as our faithful producer guessed, what would happen is that the Chicago Cubs would be in the World Series. That's not looking good at all. So shout out ES. You're, as usual, you're stinking it up on your picks again. Check the standings. It's awful. So whatever. NBA. What in the heck is going on in San Antonio? The Gold Star, the program, the organization that people wanted to match up with, which I don't understand that. Chicago Bulls won 6 championships. The Spurs have only won 5, so I still don't understand why the Bulls aren't the gold standard, but whatever. The San Antonio Spurs have one of the great players in the NBA in Kawhi Leonard. And for some reason, him and Pop and the organization are just at odds. And I'm not really sure what's going on right there. He made... Pop made a comment this week about, he asked a question about Kawhi. He said, you're going to have to ask Kawhi and his group about that. So obviously there's some contention in Arizona. Not in Arizona, in San Antonio. I don't know what's going on, but the Claw isn't happy. The Spurs aren't happy with him. Kawhi isn't happy with them. So I believe that this relationship has soured to the point where they're not going to be able to patch this up, and Kawhi Leonard is going to test free agency. He's just going to leave, He's just going to leave, and he's going to go someplace else. And what's amazing is the Spurs have absolutely nothing else to go with Kawhi Leonard. I mean, LaMarcus Aldridge signed a big contract a few years ago, and he literally, this guy stinks. He's awful, like that Mo Wagner guy. I mean, it's just... You're stealing money from this organization. LaMarcus Aldridge is just a failure, and that's all they got to go with him. And Tony Parker's like, I don't know, he's getting ready to turn 81 this week, and Ginobili is AARP, and these guys are on professional rosters, and they're just holding up spots. And Danny Green is just he's so unreliable, man. This guy will go 1 for 30, and Pop just keeps throwing him out there. It's just, I don't know. It's a lot of problems for the San Antonio Spurs right now, and I'm not going to hold my breath on them. I mean, the team that they thought that was going to be able to compete with this, somebody's got to be able to go up against Golden State, and everybody's like, yeah, it's Houston. It's not Houston. It isn't. You get caught in that regular season hype if you want to. The Houston Rockets can't match up with Golden State without Steph Curry. With Steph Curry, it's probably a 4-1, 4-0 sweep. The competition just isn't there. Now, I'm thinking that if I'm seeing the tea leaves correctly, if I'm reading them correctly, LBJ goes to the Clippers next year. Now, a lot of you jokers are going to think that he's going to the Lakers. He's not going to the Lakers. There's a problem in-house with the dad of the point guard who is at L.A. right now, and when LeBron told him to keep his kids' names out of his mouth and all that, Lonzo Ball, what's his dad's name? Whatever, Ball, the dad was like, saying something about how LeBron's kids had it easy and this is that, and LeBron, so there was some friction there. So I don't see him going to the Lakers, but sports fans, LeBron to LA is definitely a possibility, and I believe Jerry West is going to get him in a Clippers uniform next season with some help. So I believe the Clippers are going to make a big push for LeBron next season, in the offseason, and I believe that's where he's going to end up. Not with the Lakers, not with Ball, not any of that. So there will be some competition for the Golden State Warriors next year. I don't really foresee them having much of a problem. It should be 3 out of 4 for them, and it's just the way it's going to go. It's going to take a Herculean effort for. Clint Capella is decent. Chris Paul is who he is. James Harden's a superstar. They just don't have the pieces. So that regular season stuff, that feel-good story, like, look at the Rockets and James Harden's going to win the MVP and everybody's loving it. Not happening. Golden State will win again. It's not even a hard pick. I'm not even going to take advantage of that. I mean, take credit for it. It's just not going to – it doesn't matter. So anyway, NHL news. As many of you know, I'm not a fan of NHL hockey during the regular season. It's boring. It's hard to watch. I can't watch it. It's literally like watching paint dry or Michigan football. Either way, it's boring and hard to watch. But playoff hockey is different altogether. And I've been a fan, as many of you know, of Alex Ovechkin for a long time. The Washington Capitals center is exciting. Man, the first time I seen him do this, he ran and jumped into the glass and everybody was excited about it. And it's like, man, this guy is super good, but I'm hoping he hasn't been able to get past the second round in some years. So I'm hoping that this is the year where he can get past that. And Braden Holtby is playing a lot better, and Nick Backstrom is playing good. So I think that the Washington Capitals are going to be pretty good. I have them winning this year. And they lead 3-2 over. They lead 3-2 right now in their series. Washington, Ovi, this is his season. I think they're gonna have a pretty good season. So this will be the year. Less than 140 days. We're gonna talk about NCAA football before I close this out. Less than 140 days till live college football. Coach D'Antonio is a genius, and I know a lot of you know that. I'm not the one that has to ring his bell. He's a genius. He's quietly assembled the 2019 class. If you haven't got on 247 or Max Prep, check out the 2019 class. That Marcel, you got to see what this kid's name, Marcel Lewis out of Chippewa Hills, the inside linebacker for him. He's a faster, more mobile, harder hitter than Chris Fry. So he's more athletic than Chris Fry. He'll be a captain someday. He chose them over Indiana, of course, Michigan. Nobody want to go to Michigan. Nobody. You can't get a janitor to play football at Michigan right now. So whatever's going on with them, Michigan State's football team is set up for a long time. And I know all the haters are like, oh, whatever, shut up. I'm not even trying to hear that shit right now. Michigan State football is set up for years. Guaranteed you. Remember what I said today. Guaranteed Michigan State wins the Big Ten championship this year and plays for the national championship. Book it, mark it, whatever you want to do. That's what's happening. But they're only getting better because all those guys are coming back again next year. And the quarterback is going to be a 3-year starter for Michigan State. They're Julian Barnett. If you don't know who that is right there, this secondary, Michigan State secondary, will be that no-fly zone, the best secondary in football for the next 5 years. The guys they have coming in, bar none, the best players in all of college football with the best coaching staff. You already know how they coach them up. So everything's is coming up roses right now for Michigan State. Remember, only 5 shows left of this year. I take off the summer. You know that. It's hard to get people to watch during the summer, so I'll be showing reruns during the summer, so you guys click on it. Before we get to that, though, we have, before the end of the season, we have former Michigan State tailback Lil John Flowers, former Morgan State head coach Fred Ferrier in